If you haven't already, go ahead and take a look at part 1 of the series to get caught up. If you've already seen it, then I'll get started right away. Continuing on from when we beat Chuck, I helped Jasmine with her chore because God forbid a gym leader have access to a Pokemon with fly so she can do this herself, but then I get a call saying the new Safari Zone is under attack by Team Rocket. This is a new event unique to Sacred Gold and Storm Silver, and again, the furthest I've made it in a Nuzlocke for this game. There's a series of double battles with the companion trainers from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum that I'm able to get through with relative ease, and inside the cliff caves I find a Trapinch. Nice. I name a JLT gun after one of my friends in chat who really likes Flygon. But then it's time to fight Petrel and things get rough. Qua is a shit lead against Raticate. I know this thing is gonna have Crunch, so I go to Dowgie. But it gets a defense drop on me, flinches me with Hyper Fang, and then crits me with Hyper Fang. One-shotting Dowgie from full health. Jesus Christ. Krusty finishes it off, and there's a brief battle of the bats afterwards, and my bat's bigger, so I win. And then Wheezing comes out. It goes for Thunder as I switch into Qua, paralyzing him, and thankfully itself in the process. I switch into Gas Passer and get a Parafusion on him, finishing him off with Shadow Ball. And then a Skuntank comes out, which I am not ready for. I don't have any ground types, and that's all this thing's weak to. He crits K. Rool with Night Slash, but even then, it only does about half. I hit him with a Torrent boosted Surf, and he whittles himself down with Double Edge as I heal, earning me a somewhat sour victory. In the following double battle, Krusty shows off his bulk by tanking an Electrode self-destruct like it's nothing. Though to be fair, even this Sneasel tanked it. Then it's time to fight Ariana. Qua leads against Arbok, who outspeeds and does a lot with Gunk Shot, but I'm able to one-shot him. Honchkrow comes out and uses Icy Wind, but I'm able to confuse it. As I fly, it snaps out of it, and on the turn back down, uses Brave Bird, bringing me down to 4 health. I heal, but I didn't consider that its second Icy Wind would make me slower since I outsped it earlier, and it Brave Bird's Butt Lady, killing her and itself in the process. Jinx comes out as I send in Gas Passer, and while I do respectable damage with Shadow Ball, she one-shots me with Blizzard. Luckily, Pika is fast so he outspeeds and takes it out. I fake Tears to butter up Vileplume, but it almost one-shots Pika with Petal Dance. Luckily, it's locked in, meaning I can go into Krusty to tank it and heal up Qua. Thankfully, it hits itself before it can kill Krusty with Sludge Bomb, and Qua comes in to clean up. That was brutal. I hope you can see why this is the farthest I've gotten before. 2 fights in and I've already suffered major losses. And there's still one more boss coming up. I have to go get some guys back on the team and get them ground up. And I do just that, finally getting ready to defeat Archer and this random Rocket Grunt girl with Riley at my side. Riley's Absol immediately gets bodied by Zangoose's close combat, but K. Rool's Rock Tomb one-shots Scyther. Zangoose once again close combats, but Lucario survives and takes it out with Aura Sphere as I hit Crunch on Mawile. I was targeting Zangoose, but Riley decided to go for the target that I couldn't harm much without killing him. Houndoom's out next, and Lucario's fucked anyway, so I just go for Surf to do big damage to both targets. His Ursaring is out next, but yeah, I can't afford to play around here. I need to Surf even if it gets this guy killed. Which it does. Gyarados and Granbull come out, so I think Pika might be a good bet, but no. He'll get destroyed by Granbull. I have to go to Heat. I Tickle, Toxic, and confuse the Granbull as Gyarados bounces, so it's as good as dead. A few turns later it goes down, and Gyarados hits me with a bounce, paralyzing us both. After healing Pika, I go in and Thunderbolt it for the win. This is officially the farthest I've made it in a Nuzlocke for this hack. And as our reward for all of this, we get Fagnet the Magnemite in the Safari Zone. Don't worry, my gay Brazilian femboyfriend in chat gave me permission to use the fag word. Once all that's done, Jasmine herself is really not a threat at all. Pogdog, Boner Boy, Anglery, K. Rool, and yes, even Star Platinum are able to take her out without much issue at all. I didn't even need to bust out the Toad. Now it's on to Mahogany. In Mount Mortar we catch Amafatso Jimbo the Hariyama, and right outside of Mahogany, I managed to get a Munchlax. Hell yes. Snorlax is an insane tank and powerhouse. The only thing keeping me from putting Lefty here on the team right now is that I hate happiness evolutions. At the Lake of Rage, this Gyarados is looking pretty sick and ugly, so I put it out of its misery and talked to Lance who wants me to fight Team Rocket some more. Sure, why not? Well, I'll tell you why not. Boner Boy gets one-shot by a crit double edge from this guy's Eradicate. Christ. Do you want to know why that happened? I had a wide lens on him initially so that he wouldn't miss Bone Meringue, but a friend told me where to find a thick club so I could do some more damage. During that fight, I missed a Bone Meringue when it really mattered, and that's the only reason he died. Rip in peace, Boner Boy. Oh well, good thing we got Fagnet warming up the bench. I get him trained up, and I'm a fatso too, just so I can use him for the gym. Once that's done, I head deeper into the rocket lair and fight Petrel again. Skuntank is a problem, especially now that Boner Boy's dead, but he can't do much to he, and so goes to Toxicroak, which Quad deals with easily. Raticate's next, but Krusty can tank anything it throws at him. Petrel seems to realize this and goes back to Skuntank. K-Rool can take it out though. He can take anything. I do some high IQ switching, which eventually gets Pogdog out in the field to take this thing out. Crobat can do absolutely nothing against Fagnet, so I take the time to heal up the team before taking it out. But I take just too long and he goes into Wheezing, which obviously has some kind of fire move. I take advantage of this and get a flash fire boost with Pogdog. It's not enough to one-shot him, but he's certainly no threat at this point. Then Fagnet comes in for the cleanup, taking out his remaining 2 Mons. But before we split, I have some unfinished business with that bitch Ariana, and Lance helps me out. Hypno and Arbok gang up on Dragonair until Arbok goes down, but Dragonair is quick to follow. Aerodactyl comes out and takes out Hypno, which is just about the least useful thing it could have done, since Magnezone is out next, and I can barely scratch Vileplume with shitty-ass Magnet Bomb. But whatever. Thankfully, this Magnezone is not nearly as high IQ as Fagnet, and loses to a flying type with Glass Bones and Paper Skin. Speaking of those Glass Bones and Paper Skin, Aerodactyl goes down, leaving me alone in a 2v1. And then, because this Vileplume has been casually building up growths this entire time, once Qua comes out to even the playing field and take down Muck, he's one-shot by a Sludge Bomb. But it's even worse when Pogdog comes out with a Flame Wheel and also gets one-shot. Thank God I had Fagnet who was able to come in and finish it off and one-shot her Honchkrow. So, yeah, that unfinished business just cost me 2 more Mons. Sorry, Quan Pogdog. Well, with that rocket business out of the way, it's time to face Pryce. With a Steel type, a tank, my water starter, and 3 fighting types including the Toad, I'm hardly worried. Toad absolutely breezes through the trainers, and then it's time for Pryce himself. He leads with a Bomb of Snow, which sucks. Toad can't do anything to this without getting killed by a grass move, and he set up permanent Hail. Luckily, I'm a Fatso has Thick Fat, so I can tank whatever blizzards this thing has to throw at me, and take it down. Dugong's out next, which is an easy Toad switch, and I start bulking up. But as I was doing this, I considered the fact that he had a Frostlass, and yep, there it is. Well, there goes that free sweep. Let's go to he. We get some good luck with the first turn thaw from Blizzard as we poison it with Toxic, and I eventually grind it down. Then comes Mamoswine. K-Rool takes an Earthquake on the switch-in, and the Hail brings him just below half. I go for Toad instead, who tanks a crit Earthquake, and then another as I'm trying to bulk up. My Drain Punch brings him into red, so I think he's going to heal and take the opportunity to get in another bulk up. So, what else should happen but he crits me for a 3rd time, killing the Toad. Then, thanks to Snowcloak and Star Platinum having useless ass guts, he misses a Rock Smash and dies to an Earthquake. But wait, there's more! I bring out Amafatso to finally finish this thing off, and can you guess what happens? That's right, he dies to a crit Earthquake. If I didn't see that this thing had a white herb, I'd honestly think it had a scope lens. Eventually, I go into he to take it down with Payback, and take out his remaining 2 Mons with Fagnet. That's 5 deaths in 2 major battles to 2 Pokemon. I am losing my fucking mind. One last time we have to deal with a gauntlet of Team Rocket bosses, and this is going to be the hardest one yet. On top of the Pryce survivors and Krusty, I bring JLT Gun and Urinal onto the team to help deal with them. K-Rool does some work in clearing out these grunts, and eventually I make it up to the top to face off against Petrel one last time. He leads with Raticate this time, so I go to Fagnet, who he burns with a Flame Wheel. I forgot he could get that in this game. Thankfully, he only heals on my switch into K-Rool, and he wasted his heal on Eradicate, so that's good too. Although K-Rool is poisoned by Toxic, he manages to take out the Raticate. He goes into his own worst ripoff of Krusty, but Urinal is more than equipped to deal with it. An Air Slash and Ice Beam is enough to take it down. I smell a Thunder Punch coming from this Toxicroak, but nah, it's more Toxic Protect stalling. Funnily enough, it doesn't try to protect on the turn that Jail Tegan digs, and neither does Skuntank. I heal up the team, while Hypno can't really do anything to he, but I don't have any more poison heals. With Toxic Inflicted, my tank is running on limited time. Once Weezing's out, I can defuse it and take a gamble going into Fagnet hoping it won't Fire Blast. It doesn't, I think because it got rid of it to be a Toxic Protect spammer, and we win. Our useless rival is up next underground. Honchkrow is Fagnet fodder, as is the case for Magmar and K-Rool. His Meganium actually becomes pretty threatening after getting up 2 Swords Dances, but I'm able to use that against him with Confusion and he makes it out alright. He is then able to take out Alakazam and Gengar pretty effortlessly, and I go to Krusty for Seadra, which was honestly kind of a gamble. It used Focus Energy, so if it crit this Ice Beam, Krusty was dead. Then, I face my hardest opponent so far, this dumb, easy puzzle for babies. I was completely overthinking it and missed the door in the corner that actually led to where I was supposed to go. Yeah, I haven't played this game in a while. My brain is smooth. No, my brain. Krusty kills everything with crit Grass Knots for some reason, and we head back up with the key card to stop Team Rocket from using the radio or whatever the stupid plot is. Proton's next. He immediately proves that he's smarter than Petrol by actually protecting on my dig turn, and then I immediately have to take that back as he fucking explodes on my dig turn. What? I then Bug Bite Cacturn for an easy one-shot and head into Fagnet for an easy Crobat kill. It has Heat Wave, but it's okay, Crobat's special attack kinda sucks, and, you know, Fagnet is kind of awesome. Cool as he is though, he can't take on a Camerupt, so Urinal comes in to one-shot it. I know his Weezing will actually have a coverage move, so I go to He to whittle it down and then go to Fagnet to finish him off. Tauros is his last, and it's an easy KO with Krusty. He's my go-to for any of these physical normal types. Now it's time for the real boss. This bitch has fucked me up so many times that I'm just done with her shit at this point. Fagnet at this point is an easy Jinx counter, though it does take a bit of time thanks to Lovely Kiss. Her Vileplume is out next, and while it can't hurt me too much, I can't hurt it too much. So I try for Urinal but just get poisoned for my trouble. Back to Fagnet, I think. I decide to go for Jail Tegan after it goes for a Drain Punch. Vileplume's attack sucks, but with a super effective healing move, that was a battle of attrition that Fagnet just wasn't gonna win. Thankfully, a couple Dragon Claws later and it's down. The fact that Arbok is switching in next screams Ice Fang, so I go for K-Rool and dunk it. Gunk Shot hurts, but I hurt more and it goes down. Fagnet's hurt, so I go to He for Honchkrow, but nope, not staying in with that damage. I scope it out for Heat Wave, but thankfully it doesn't seem to have it, so I heal the team. And once that's done, I Thunderbolt it for an easy knockout. I stay in to hit my Lodic, but then I go to K-Rool as it heals back up the damage. It's a rest talker, so I switch again to He to out-tank it. It works, eventually. Purugly comes out next, and of course, pure normal physical attacker means it's Krusty time. This thing's annoying, but it really can't do anything to Krusty, and eventually goes down. Now to get everyone up to level 50 for the big fight. It's time to take down Team Rocket for good. Archer leads off with the Zangoose, and Urinal is far less equipped to deal with that than Krusty is. Even after a crit Crush Claw lowered my defense, he still tanked a close combat afterwards with health to spare. We respect each other's fortitude and make a mutual switch. I hit him for good damage as he kind of whittles away at me until he dies. Machamp is out next, but luckily for me, he also has Guts for some reason, and misses a Stone Edge as I go to K-Rool. 2 surfs later, and he's down. Houndoom is a similar story. If it didn't have a Focus Stash, it wouldn't have stood a chance. I go into He for Zangoose, which is admittedly dumb since I knew it had close combat, but if Krusty can tank it, so can he. I don't have a fire move for Scizor, but I do have Magnet Pull Fagnet trapping it in with me, as it basically can't hurt me. This is actually how I lost to Scizor in a Renegade Platinum run, and all that's left is Gyarados. This'll be an easy boom! Outsped and one-shot by Earthquake. Fuck! Well, after a long session of confusion and poison, he is able to whittle it down for the win. So, yeah, that's Team Rocket dealt with. Haha, just kidding, Giovanni actually shows up and fights you. Can I talk about how this is a much better conclusion to the Rocket story than the vanilla Johto games? So yeah, Giovanni leaves with Persian, meaning it's Krusty time. A couple of Grass Nuts and it's down. Nidoking is a problem. It has Ice Beam, which on its own is not great, but I wasn't even looking at the screen at the time, so I didn't see it, which is worse. Then, he gets a critical Thunderbolt, one-shotting King K. Rool. Double fuck. Then, because I didn't see it had Ice Beam, I switch into JLT Gun thinking he's my best bet. I'm, almost right. If I had Earthquake instead of Dig, this would have actually worked out, but no, he dies for it. Really, he was my best bet here, but I didn't know that until it was too late. 2 of my powerhouses are gone, and I'm down to 3 living mons for the rest of the fight. I almost lose He to a crit double edge from Kangaskhan. Twice. This motherfucker is so double edge happy that eventually it just kills itself. At the very least, he survived. I go to Krusty for Rhyperior and heal to scope out what he has instead of just going for a Grass Knot. This almost ends up getting Urinal killed, as I switch him in after tanking a Mega Horn, but he lives with 4 health and manages to one-shot it with Surf. I don't know why I did that. Another Tauros is out next, and my team is in bad shape. He's able to tank the Stone Edge, and then it's more double edge spam, along with the mandatory crits that come with it, and the eventual double edge suicide as I heal my team. Nidoqueen is the last one out, so I confuse and tickle it with He, and while it tries, it's no match for Urinal, and we beat Giovanni. 3-star players down in one fell swoop. What an absolute disaster, but I'm just glad we made it out alive. With that, we're finally able to move past Mahogany, and we leave a piece of our soul behind. Losing Fagnet and especially K. Rool hurt because they were absolutely carrying. And JL Tegan was just starting to show his potential. He was cut down way too soon. However, we do manage to get Kamina the Beedrill and Snow Bama. He'll be good for Clair. After some time grinding, including my least favorite kind, happiness grinding, I get a new team up and running. We've not only brought Pika back and Snow Bama onto the team, but we've trained up Lefty into a hefty Snorlax. And with the power of VTubers and memes, we're ready to continue our journey. We make it through the ice path and head down south past Blackthorn, catching Peak the Grumpig. I love Spoink, but Grumpig honestly kind of creeps me out. We'll see how far this guy goes. We go through the gym and get everyone properly trained up before finally fighting Clair. Snowbomb is an easy lead to get the hail up. Dragonair thankfully misses a Fire Blast as I Ice Punch it for a knockout. Her Salamence is next, and I don't know why I stayed in here. I guess I thought it would either use Fly or Ice Shard would be enough to one-shot it even after the Intimidate, but it also Fire Blasts, and this time Snowbomb doesn't make it. I barely knew him, so I won't exactly cry about that loss, but yeah, that could have gone better. Lefty comes in clutch though and knocks it out with strength. Gyarados is in next, and while I'm confident in Lefty, I cannot let this thing Dragon Dance under any circumstances, so I go straight for Pika to kill it. I scope out this Dragonair with He, and thank goodness I do because Outrage would have hurt anyone else a lot. It's the same story as any He fight. An annoying and slow whittle to death. It's tedious, but it's effective, and more importantly, it's safe. With some help from He's Toxic and a bit of Hail, Lefty is able to take down Altaria pretty handily, so all that's left is Kingdra. Clearly, she thought of the Hail strategy, as her Kingdra is packing Blizzard, but Lefty's thick fat means he tanks it like it's nothing. And after some swaggers on her end, some body slams on mine, and some heals, we managed to bring it down. That's not good enough for Clair though, so I pass her test for her and split with the final badge. As a replacement for Snow Bama, I bring Kamina onto the team. Then train him up and get ready to fight the Kimono Girls. They're really not that bad. Lefty is so tanky that he's able to do a good deal all on his own, with a couple of assists from Kamina, Pika, and Urinal. Then I go to some underwater cave and fight a big ugly seagull until it dies. I don't know what I did, but these girls don't seem pleased with me. After that, it's time to go to Kanto. I weigh my options and put National on the team. I train him up, and off we go. The routes of Ace trainers don't really put up all that much resistance, and Victory Road is still barren of trainers. Although, we do happen upon Elephant the Elephant. Anyway, it's time to fight our useless rival one last time before the Elite Four. Honchkrow really doesn't feel like hurting itself in confusion, which might be really bad for Lefty, but he pulls through. Alakazam gets a Focus Blast off on me and lowers my special defense, so that sucks. I bait out another Focus Blast with Kamina, and then use him to bait out a Psychic to get a safe switch into He, who tanks the Focus Blast and finishes it with a Payback. Kingdra's out against He, and it's the same old story. Toxic, Confusion, and Payback wins the day. He's tankiness is a blessing this run. Meganium comes out, so Kamina is the obvious switch. He gets a Reflect In on the switch, which sucks. My Mega Horn doesn't even do half now. And then he Sword Stances and one-shots Kamina with Earthquake as I miss Mega Horn. Luckily, Urinal is able to clean it up. Gengar comes out, but when he's on the team, you know that's not going to end well. And after a Confuse Ray, National takes out Magmortar with relative ease. It's a shame that we lost Kamina, but it's alright. It's only in character that he dies. And now it's time to train for the league. And weighing my options, I bring Peeg onto the team and replace Urinal with Eeg the Togekiss. Urinal has done good, but I'm gonna need more speed and power if I want to win. I'm nervous going in here, but with the power of Mick Gordon, the Hades soundtrack, and Bonnie Tyler, there's no way we can lose. Let's go. Will is first up, and he's honestly a complete joke. If he didn't constantly inflict status on this battle would have been about twice as short. It wasn't exactly a fast sweep, but it was a really easy one. I never even had to fucking switch. Bulky Stall Umbreon is honestly the best choice I could have made for my Eevee at the start. Koga's up next, fresh off his promotion from Gym Leader to Elite Four, and he gives us some trouble. First of all, Venomoth is out first, which despite its name having venom in it, is actually part psychic in this hack. So yeah, Peeg is something of a detrimental lead, so I go to Lefty instead. Venomoth is so rightfully terrified of Lefty that he tags out over to Toxicroak after a couple turns, so it's back to Peeg for the easy one-shot. Venomoth is back out next, so I just go to National for an easy Aqua Jet finisher. Even with huge power, I don't trust National against physical tank Wheezing, so Peeg is an easy pick again. It survives my extra sensory, but it doesn't accomplish anything and goes down next turn. But Brave Bird from Crobat hurts. Well, who better to tank it than he? And tank he does. Once Muk comes out, I have to heal as he goes for Gunk Shot. I want to confuse him, but he sets up a substitute and nullifies it. Turns out, he has Focus Punch too. This is really bad. He just barely hung on. I have no options here. I can't switch to Krusty since he'll get railed by Gunk Shot. I have to stay in. I get rid of his sub, but it's too late for and he dies to a Focus Punch. That set was the last thing I saw coming. Eeg comes in for the revenge kill, and it's down to Tentacruel. Luckily, it's no match for Lefty, but what a loss we just suffered. He's been on the team since the beginning, my first Mon besides my starter. I might have been able to save him if I stalled him out of Gunk Shots and switched to Krusty, but even then, that was risking a crit. Such a shame. But we don't have time to feel sad right now. We've got Bruno to fight. Hitmontop goes down easily after a fake out on his end, and Hitmonlee is a similar story. Payback from Hariyama barely hurts, and it's an easy two-shot. Hitmonchan, though, concerns me. Even though its whole thing is punching, it goes for high jump kick, but whatever. Krusty is eventually able to take it out. Machamp is scary, but it also has guts for some reason instead of no guard. Because I guess Dre wanted us to have an easy time against the bosses? It does still hit with Dynamic Punch though, but he runs out fast and eventually Krusty trips him up. Finally, it's up to National to take down Lucario, which he does handily. Another one that's pretty easy. For the penultimate battle, we have Karen. She leads with Mightyena, which attracts me? Okay, weird set. Well, Peeg is my only female and I don't trust her against this thing, so over to Krusty it is, I guess. After some Super Fangs and some more attraction, I bring it down with some Grass Knots. Now, without this Honchkrow is going to be tough. I go for Lefty, but even with how bulky he is, Brave Bird still hurts. But hey, I've got an assload of HP, so I just keep healing until it eventually kills itself with its own Brave Birds. Keep in mind, this was not smart. I'll bet anything this thing had super luck and could have one-shot Lefty with a crit. National comes in against Absol and tanks a Mega Horn and a Sucker Punch, and after healing up, I finish it off with an Aqua Jet. Eeg comes in against Spiritomb and takes it out without much issue. And a Toxic Stalling Umbreon is next because my heart doesn't hurt enough, I guess. Whatever. Double Team doesn't work on Aura Sphere, so it's down. It's finally down to Houndoom, and I'm lucky he took a while to get greedy with a nasty plot, since I'm able to outspeed and win. And finally, it's just down to the champion, Lance. Gyarados is obviously not the lead I was hoping for with National, so I go over to Lefty to hit it with some strengths. He hits like a truck because he's Gyarados, but Lefty still comes out on top. Charizard is out next, and it's double weak to Rock, and I have Thick Fat, so yeah, I'm staying in, even if he does have Focus Miss. Next, National tanks a Draco Meteor from Dragonite. And it doesn't even have a White Herb, so yeah, this thing's basically useless now. Yeah, spam it as much as you want, buddy. Bye! Now, his next Dragonite isn't fucking around. It goes straight for Outrage, but hey, that's what Krusty's for. He gets out of it pretty fast though, so I go to Peak to scope out what he has, and it's Wing Attack. I expected something a bit stronger, but okay. I take a big gamble in healing up National here. If it didn't hit itself in Confusion here, Peak was toast. I got super lucky. I switch back into National, but this thing just does too much damage. It's gotta be Krusty or no one. It hits itself, and I start tickling to neuter it. But Tickle doesn't work on crits, and he almost one-shots me with a crit Wing Attack as I put it to sleep. Game, please stop giving me heart attacks. I start to Ancient Power, but then he switches over to Garchomp. I take the time to heal up National, but it also really can't hurt Krusty that much, so I decide hell with it. Grass Knot's at least neutral, so I'll take him out. I do, however, switch out against Aerodactyl. National can handle this one. And with his final Dragonite still asleep, it's an easy knockout with National's Ice Punch for the win. We did it. It cost us our best tank, but we're finally the champions. But it's a Johto game. You know we're not done yet. We still have to fight all the Kanto gym leaders and Red. But that's gonna have to wait for next time. Kanto and Red will consist of the final part of this series, assuming I, make it to Red. Think I got the right stuff? Find out next time. I'll see you then.